Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Nadhaya Namaha, Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Today, in the series of Saisatcharita, we are going to discuss chapter 49. As usual, Hemad Pant gives the introduction in this chapter also. One thing we have to learn when you observe all Saisatcharita chapters, the introduction kind of gives you a prologue kind of thing and gives you a mental readiness to learn about the story, that the stories that are discussed in that chapter. So that's why the introduction in each chapter is also very important. If we observe Sai's attributes, it's kind of difficult to describe them in a similar way that whoever, whenever they describe about God's qualities, by any sastras, by any means, it's never enough. All the scriptures got exhausted in praising Sadguru. So in a similar way, Hemad Pant also thinks that he was nobody to describe Sai's attributes. Because of Sai's blessing only, he was able to discuss those things. He was able to write those things. So Sai Leelas are indescribable, and Sai fulfilled all the wishes of his devotees. Sai is the adornment of all the saints. And then ultimately, he is the refugee of his devotees and the destroyer of the difficulties. And why the difficulties? Because the life is a whirlpool. When you fall into it, it is called a samsara chakra. Without being humble at the Sadguru's feet, self-realization is not possible. Saints are the embodiment of the Lord, and we all need to seek their blessings. Our thoughts should be focused on the Guru's feet itself. Otherwise, the spiritual growth will not be possible. May the desire for the company of the saints and the love for them be ours. He who is full of ego is not fit to be called a devotee. He is a true devotee who is totally without ego. One who is arrogant because of his knowledge and vain, because he considers himself great, is only the personification of the pride. So we need to clear that pride. Unfortunately, the ones who do not sing the praises of their Guru and those who do not hear them despite not being deaf are the embodiment of dull-wittedness. Practicing penance is better than pilgrimage. Observing vows, sacrifice and charity. When you compare all these, practicing penance is better. But worshipping the Lord is also better than just practicing penance. Without bhakti, we are nobody. But worshipping Guru, meditation on one's own Guru is even better than worshipping Lord. Even God, if you continue to pray to God, asking for nothing, what God does is show you your Guru, sends your Guru to your life. So that's the greatness of Guru. We all need to learn about that. And so what we need to do as Sai Bhaktas, only Sai is the object of meditation. Only Sai is their deity for worship. Only Sai is their hidden treasure. And this treasure needs to be protected, but not in a miserly way. So going into this real story, next is a story of a person who had love for witnessing a miracle, and his name is Hari Kanoba. He was neither motivated by personal interest nor by any spiritual needs. He was ignorant of the greatness of the saints, yet he was told by somebody about Sai's greatness. He wanted to test that. So he comes from Bombay and to Shirdi. At Kopargaon, the Hari got into a Tanga with his friends after having a bath in the Godavari. They left for Shirdi without a delay. And then he was going through Kopargaon, washed his hands and feet, and then this Kanoba was eager to see Sai and comes to Shirdi. When he comes to Shirdi, he was wearing a new pair of sandals and had a jerry embroidered turban on his head. These sandals were really new, and he loved those sandals. When he comes to the Dwarka Mai, he he was not sure where to leave these sandals, and he finds a corner and leaves them there and goes inside Dwarka Mai and prostrates at Baba's feet. When he comes out, he could not find his shoes. But when he prostrated in front of Baba, and lovingly when he did that, Baba blessed him. He gave him Udi and Prasad. And then when he came out, the sandals were missing. And he became very disappointed, very angry, felt helpless, and goes to Vada, where he had taken a bath and then gave Naivedya to the god. And then he ate his lunch. And then he comes out to wash his hands after he ate his food. Once he comes out, he sees a lad, a boy, running with a stick. At the end of the stick, there were some sandals, and this boy was kind of saying, Harika beta, Jarika feta. Like that, he was saying that. What it means is that he's calling out for Hari, the son of Ka, that is Kanoba, with a jerry turban. And he comes there, and then he stops him, asks the boy, those are my sandals. And then the boy told about Baba's advice that he needs to see that jerry turban. So he brings the jerry turban and shows it to him. Then the boy gives the sandals to Hari Kanoba. Then he realizes that how Baba knew about his father's name, Hari. So his name came as Hari Kanoba. Of course, Baba saw Jerry Turban, but he doesn't know my dad's name. So that's how he developed faith in Baba, realizing that how great Baba's Sarvagnata was, omniscience. So then he saw that miracle because he wanted to see a miracle to believe in Baba. So he became a staunch devotee of Baba later on. There are two ways to attain the favor of a saint. One is definitely devotion, and other is knowledge. The path of knowledge is deep and difficult. The means of devotion are simple. If devotion is so easy and attainable, then why do we ignore it? We have to go for it. For that, one needs to have the greatest good fortune. Then alone it can be attained. One meets a saint only after lakhs of meritorious lives. Only the happiness of association with a saint develops devotion. All of us just know about this daily existence where there is attachment and you will be pulled in different directions. And we don't understand what is detachment, what is renunciation. When such is the state of mind, we cannot call it as a devotion. no matter how much we attend temples, no matter how much we attend these saints. This is true for all times. There should not be the slightest doubt about it. So the next story illustrates the doubts that our minds create when we visit the saints. Because we focus on external appearances, not realizing their omniscience, their greatness. Somadeva Swamy had a similar kind of experience. When Somadeva Swamy was going through Himalayas, Kaka Dikshit's brother Baiji was in Uttarkashi, and they both exchanged their information, and Baiji requested Somadeva Swamy to visit Nagpur when he comes this side. So later on, after some time, Somadeva Swamy visited Baiji, and they talked about Baba's greatness. Then Somadeva Swamy felt that he wanted to visit Shirdi. So when he came near Shirdi, he saw two flags near Dwaraka Mai and felt that why Baba was interested in flags. When he expressed his doubt about this, his travel companions told him, if you feel like this for the flags, how about a horse, chariot, and other paraphernalia? Then he almost thought about not visiting Baba, but other people around him convinced him to have a darshan because you came all the way up to here. Why not just visit Sai Samartha? Because all these paraphernalia were given to him by his bhaktas. He doesn't really have any wish for these things. When he saw Sri Sai Samartha, Somadeva Swamy melted. His eyes became filled with tears. His throat was choked. He experienced supreme bliss. His eyes were just fully joyous. And he felt anxious to roll in the dust of Baba's feet. Seeing that handsome and comely appearance, his eyes and his mind were wonderstruck, and he remained staring intensely. He was captured by love. The evil thoughts evaporated from his mind. The mind melted with the joy of the darshan of Baba. His eyes were absorbed in the divine form. So when he prostrated to Baba, Baba immediately said, "Leave my false claims to me. Leave and go back to your home. Beware, if you ever come back again to my masjid, why do you need to take the darshan of one who flies flags over the masjid? Is there sign of sainthood? Do not stay here even for a moment." When Baba uttered these words, then he understood what Baba's greatness is, what Baba's omniscience is. He was deeply engrossed, gazing at the greatest saint. Somdev was supremely delighted. He felt at peace and desired to stay there forever. And then he attained so much bliss afterwards by staying in Shirdi in the presence of Sai. He could not achieve all this when he did Himalaya Yatra and visited so many tirthas, temples, and he remembered his Guru's words, what he read in Shastras, that whenever you find peace in the presence of a great person, that is your Gurusthana. So he learned about this, and then ultimately he stayed there for a long time. That's how Baba blessed Somadeva Swamy to advance in his spiritual quest. The next, Hemant Pant talks about Baba's teaching to Nana Chandorkar. On one occasion, Nana was sitting next to Baba in Dwarka Mai. There were two Muslim ladies standing for a visit to Baba at a distance. And they were seeing Nana there because they didn't want to probably come in if another male person was there. But Nana wanted to get away from there observing all this, but Baba reassures him and asks him to have a seat. So these ladies come up to the Dwarka Mai, and one of them takes that Gosha, the cover on her face, and touches Baba's feet. And then while doing so, while that was happening, Nana observed her beauty, and his mind became so wondered that how much beauty was there. And then the sheen of the eyes, the brilliance of the countenance, the perfect proportion of her features, and the indescribable charm of the whole person were such that Nana was at once smitten with her beauty. When his mind was thus occupied, the lady finished her darshan and resumed her wheel again. Then the thought struck Nana, shall I have another opportunity of seeing this angelic face? Baba at once slapped him on the thigh. Then the ladies departed. Baba asked him, do you know why I slapped you? Nana admitted that his thoughts were low and unfit for one in Baba's company. He asked, how is it that even when I am next to you, such low thoughts sway my mind? Baba replied, you are a man after all, and the body being full of desires, these spring up as sense objects approach. Then Baba asked, are there not lovely temples with well-colored exterior? When we go there, do we admire the exterior beauty or the God within? When you are seeing God within, do you ever care for the outside beauty of the building? Similarly, remember God is not only in temples, He is found in every creature. Therefore, when you see a beautiful face, remember that it is a temple and the image of the God within is the Jiva, a preeminent part of the universal soul, that is Chaitanya. So think at once of God or the universal soul in every object, whether beauteous or ugly. These forms reveal the God within. There is nothing wrong in admiring beauty, but the thought must follow at once. If this object is so beautiful, how much more beautiful and powerful must be the God who made this object and inhabits it. Thinking thus, you will not get smitten by a Muslim beauteous face hereafter. This was the Upadesha given to Nana, the best teaching we all can absorb. Baba had not to go further and stop him from any sinful acts due to lust, as he had to do in another's case. Sai is deeply indebted to him who repeats Sri Sai's name, feels love for him in his heart, and does all actions for Sai's sake. There is no better means for breaking the bondage of this world. The story of Sai is very purifying and savoring. It always gives happiness. Use the feet to circumambulate Sai. Use the ears to listen to Saisatcharita. Embrace him lovingly with your whole body and use the eyes to have Sai's darshan. These are the things that as Sai Bhaktas we all have to remember and gain the wisdom of Baba's teachings by devotedly surrendering ourselves to our Guru, the greatest Guru, the Parama Guru. Then we can reach towards our goal, that is Atma Sakshatkara, the self-realization. Om Sri Sai Nadarpanamastu. Om Sri Sai Ram. Om Sri Sai Nadaya Namaha. Om Sri Sai Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai.